You were invited. You said yes. You even got ready. And then you sat on the edge of your bed and thought, do I actually have to go? Not because you were tired, not because anything was wrong, just because the thought of making small talk for 3 hours with people you don't really connect with felt like a cost you weren't willing to pay. So you texted an excuse, lay back down, and felt instantly better, not guilty. You don't even feel bad about not feeling bad. Most people think something's wrong with you. Science thinks something's very right. Stay until the end, because what you're about to learn might completely change how you see yourself. You weren't always selective like this. There was a time when you tried to fit in everywhere. You went to every party. You kept up with every group chat. You stretched yourself thin across a dozen friendships that never quite felt real. You showed up, you performed, you laughed on cue, and you came home exhausted in a way sleep couldn't fix, until one day, something changed. Maybe it was a friendship that cost you everything and gave back almost nothing. Maybe it was a room full of people where you felt more alone than you ever did by yourself. Maybe it was just one honest moment lying in the quiet after everyone left, where you thought, none of that filled me at all. Abraham Maslow spent decades studying what he called self-actualized people, the psychologically healthiest humans he could find. One trait kept appearing. They didn't need crowds. They weren't antisocial. They were, his exact word, selective. They had realized something most people haven't, that presence without connection is just noise with a face. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. There's a concept in psychology called cognitive load. In plain terms, your brain has a processing budget. Every social interaction spends from it the small talk, the performance, the reading of every micro-expression, the careful editing of what you say and how you say it. For most people, that cost is manageable. For you, it runs deeper, because you're not just having a conversation, you're analyzing it, you're noticing the thing behind the thing. You're quietly tracking what's real and what's performance. That takes significantly more mental energy. A landmark study from the London School of Economics found that higher intelligence is directly linked to lower satisfaction from frequent social interaction. Not because smart people are cold, because their brains are already working harder just by being in the room. In other words, you don't avoid people because you dislike them. Your brain avoids overstimulation because it's already running at full capacity. Solitude isn't your weakness, it's your recharge. Here's what I need you to actually understand. Avoiding most people doesn't mean you can't connect. It means you've raised your standard for what connection actually is. While most people collect acquaintances to feel less alone, you'd rather be alone than pretend a shallow conversation is enough. While most people fill their weekends with plans they half enjoy, you protect your time like it's the most valuable thing you own. Because for you, it is. You're not antisocial, you're just done performing, belonging in rooms where you never actually belonged. There's a name for what you're doing, even if no one's ever given it to you. It's called discernment, and it is extraordinarily rare. Most people spend their entire lives chasing connection in all the wrong places, wondering why they feel so empty in a room full of people. You figured that out early. You're not hard to be around, you're just easy to disappoint, because you know what real feels like. That's not a flaw, that is depth. But here's where I have to be straight with you. There's a difference between discernment and defense. Discernment says, I know what real connection feels like, and I won't settle for less. And defense says, no one is worth it, so I won't let anyone close enough to try. One is a standard, the other is a shield. And shields, no matter how necessary they once were, can become prisons. Stephen Porges, whose research mapped how our nervous systems respond to social safety, found that humans are literally wired for connection. Not crowds, not performance, but genuine, felt, safe connection. Even one person. If you've gone so selective that no one gets through anymore, that's not intelligence protecting you. That's an old wound making itself sound like wisdom. The line is this: are you choosing quality, or have you quietly stopped believing quality exists? Here's what I want you to sit with. You are not broken. You are not cold. You are not someone who failed at being social. You are someone who refused to pretend that surface level was enough. That takes something most people never develop: the willingness to be alone, rather than be somewhere that costs you yourself. You protect your energy because you know what it's worth. You guard your time because you know it doesn't refill. You go quiet in loud rooms because the noise was never the point. None of that is something to fix. All of that is something to finally understand. Not everyone deserves a seat at the table of your inner world. And knowing that is not isolation, it's self-respect. Tell me in the comments, is there one person in your life who actually gets through? Someone who made the cut without you even deciding? I'd love to know what that looks like for you. Subscribe to Truth Pills if you've spent your whole life being told you're too much or not enough, and you're ready to understand why neither of those things were ever true.